Hello and welcome to English Bio Talk. I'm Anna. Have you ever been in a situation where you needed to speak English and you felt your heart start to pound in your chest? Maybe your mind went completely blank. You knew the words, you've studied the grammar, but at that exact moment, nothing came out. Or maybe you whispered a few words, worried that you would make a mistake and everyone would judge you. You are not alone. This feeling, this fear, is something that almost every single English learner experiences. But what if I told you that in the next few minutes, we can start to change that? What if I told you that confidence is not something you are born with, but something you can build like a muscle? Today, we are going to talk about exactly how to do that. This video is all about how to speak English confidently, anywhere, at any time. We will go through practical, simple steps you can start using today to transform the way you feel about speaking English. By the end of this video, you will have a complete toolkit to build unstoppable speaking confidence. So, get ready to change your English journey forever. Let's begin. Point 1. Your mindset is your foundation. Before we learn any techniques, any phrases, or any tricks, we have to start with the most important tool you have, your mind. Your confidence, or lack of it, begins right here, in your thoughts. Many learners think their problem is their English level, but most of the time, the real problem is their mindset. First, you must accept a very important truth. You do not need to be perfect to be a confident speaker. Let me repeat that. You do not need to be perfect. Native English speakers make mistakes all the time. They use the wrong words, they forget what they were saying, they use incorrect grammar. It happens. The goal of speaking English is not to be a perfect robot. The goal is communication. It's about connecting with another person, sharing an idea, asking a question, or telling a story. If the other person understands you, you have succeeded. So, let go of the pressure of perfection. It's a weight you don't need to carry. Every time you speak, just aim for connection, not perfection. Second, you need to change your relationship with mistakes. From now on, a mistake is not a failure. A mistake is a sign that you are trying. It's a learning opportunity. When you were a baby learning to walk, you fell down hundreds of times. Did you think, "Oh, I'm a failure, I will never walk"? No. You just got up and tried again. Learning a language is the same. When you make a mistake, don't feel embarrassed. Instead, get curious. Think, that didn't sound right. What's the correct way to say that? See every mistake as a stepping stone, not a wall. When you stop fearing mistakes, you unlock your freedom to speak. Next, shift your focus. When we are nervous, we are usually focused on ourselves. We are thinking, how do I sound? What will they think of me? Am I saying this right? All of this internal focus makes us more nervous. The secret is to shift your focus from yourself to the person you are talking to. Get interested in them. What are they trying to say? What do they think? Listen closely to their words. Ask them questions. When you are genuinely curious about the other person, you forget to be nervous about yourself. Your brain is too busy understanding them to worry about your own performance. You become part of a conversation, not a performer on a stage. Finally, practice positive self-talk. The little voice inside your head can be your biggest critic or your biggest cheerleader. If you are always telling yourself, "My English is terrible," or "I'm going to sound stupid," then you will feel nervous and you won't speak well. You need to become your own best friend. Before a conversation, tell yourself, "I can do this. My English is good enough to communicate. Every time I speak, I get better." This might feel strange at first, but it is incredibly powerful. You are training your brain to be confident. Remember, your confidence starts with your thoughts. So, build a strong foundation by aiming for connection, embracing mistakes, focusing on others, and encouraging yourself. Point 2. Prepare to be spontaneous. This might sound like a contradiction. How can you prepare to be spontaneous? But the truth is, the most confident and spontaneous speakers are often the best prepared. They aren't trying to memorize a perfect script for every conversation. Instead, they have a mental toolkit of phrases and strategies that they can use in almost any situation. This preparation gives them the freedom and confidence to handle unexpected moments. One of the most powerful tools you can have is a collection of filler phrases or conversation holders. These are simple phrases you can use to give yourself a moment to think without having an awkward silence. When someone asks you a difficult question, instead of panicking, you can use one of these. For example, "That's a really interesting question. Let me think about that for a moment. I've never really thought about that before. Well, to be honest, that's a good point. Let me see." These phrases are your best friend. They signal to the other person that you are thinking, and they give your brain a few extra seconds to find the right words. Native speakers use them all the time. Practice saying them so they sound natural. Having these ready will make you feel much more in control of the conversation. Next, prepare for common situations. Think about the situations where you need to speak English most often. Is it at a coffee shop? In a business meeting? Asking for directions? Talking to a friend? For each of these situations, you can prepare a mini script. For example, for a coffee shop, greeting, "Hi, how are you?" Order, "Could I please have a large latte with oat milk?" Follow-up question, "Do you have any muffins?" Payment, "I'll be paying by card." Closing, "Thank you, have a great day." You don't need to memorize it perfectly. The point is to think through the vocabulary and phrases you might need before you are in the situation. This pre-thinking reduces the mental effort you need during the actual conversation, which frees up your brain to handle unexpected things. Do this for 3 or 4 of your most common speaking situations. You will be amazed at how much more confident you feel. Another great preparation strategy is to have a few personal stories ready to tell. One of the hardest parts of small talk is thinking of something to say. So, prepare some answers to common questions like, "How was your weekend? What do you do for work or what are you studying? Have you seen any good movies recently? Do you have any plans for the holidays?" Think of a simple 2 or 3 sentence story for each of these. For example, for "How was your weekend?" you could prepare, "It was really nice and relaxing. I went for a long walk in the park on Saturday, and then I cooked dinner for some friends. It was great to catch up with them." Having these simple stories ready means you never have to panic when someone asks you a simple question. It helps you start the conversation smoothly, and once the conversation is going, it's much easier to keep it going. Preparation is not about being a robot. It's about building a safety net that gives you the confidence to be yourself in English. Point 3. Practice smart, not just hard. We all know that practice is important, but practice can mean many things. Just reading a textbook or doing grammar exercises is not enough to build speaking confidence. You need to practice actively, using your voice. Here are some of the smartest ways to practice speaking, even if you don't have a partner. First is a technique called shadowing. This is one of the most effective methods for improving your pronunciation, rhythm, and flow. It's very simple. You find a short audio or video clip of a native speaker. It could be from a podcast, a movie, or a YouTube video. First, you listen to a sentence. Then, you play it again and you try to say it at the exact same time as the speaker. You are their shadow. You try to copy their pronunciation, the melody of their voice, and their speed. Don't worry about understanding every single word at first. The goal is to train the muscles in your mouth to make the sounds of English. It connects your ears to your mouth. When you do this regularly, even for just 5 or 10 minutes a day, you will start to sound much more natural. Your speaking will become smoother and more automatic. The second technique is called think aloud. This is something you can do anytime, anywhere. The idea is to become the narrator of your own life. As you go about your day, describe what you are doing and what you are thinking out loud in English. For example, if you are making breakfast, you could say, "Okay, I'm going to make some coffee now. I need to get the coffee beans from the cupboard. I'll grind them first. I love the smell of fresh coffee in the morning. Now I need to boil some water. I think I'll have some toast with it. This might feel silly at first, but it is an incredible way to practice. You are forcing your brain to constantly look for English words for your daily thoughts and actions. It helps you identify gaps in your vocabulary. Maybe you don't know the word for kettle or toaster. Now you can look it up. This makes learning new vocabulary very relevant to your life. It also makes speaking a daily habit, which is essential for building fluency and confidence. A third powerful method is to record yourself. I know, most people hate the sound of their own voice, but this is a very important tool for improvement. Choose a simple topic, maybe what you did yesterday or your favorite movie. Set a timer for 1 or 2 minutes and just talk about that topic. Record it on your phone. Then listen back. When you listen, don't judge yourself harshly. Listen like a coach. What did you do well? Was your speech clear? Then listen for 1 or 2 things you could improve. Maybe you hesitated a lot. Maybe you made the same grammar mistake a few times. Maybe your pronunciation of a certain word was unclear. Just pick one thing to focus on for next time. Then try recording it again. This process of speaking, getting feedback, and trying again is how you make rapid progress. You become your own teacher. Of course, if you can, finding a language partner is fantastic. There are many websites and apps where you can find people who want to practice English in exchange for you helping them with your native language. This gives you real-world practice in a low-pressure environment. The key is to find someone you are comfortable with so you are not afraid to make mistakes. Smart practice is about quality, not just quantity. These active techniques will build your speaking skills and your confidence much faster than passive learning ever could. Point 4. Master your body language. Confidence is not just about the words you say. It's also about how you say them. Your body language sends a powerful message both to the person you are talking to and to your own brain. When you use confident body language, you actually start to feel more confident. This is a scientifically proven phenomenon. So, let's talk about how you can use your body to boost your speaking confidence. It all starts with your posture. How are you sitting or standing right now? Are you slouched over, making yourself small? Or are you sitting up straight with your shoulders back? A confident posture is an open posture. When you stand tall, you are sending a signal to the world and to yourself that you are ready and you are present. It also helps you breathe more deeply, which calms your nerves and gives your voice more power. Before you enter a conversation, take a second to check your posture. Pull your shoulders back, lift your chin, and stand or sit tall. This one small change can make a huge, immediate difference in how you feel. Next is eye contact. This can be very difficult for people who are nervous, but it is one of the most important parts of effective communication. When you avoid looking at someone, it can signal that you are not confident or not interested. You don't need to stare at them intensely. The goal is to make a connection. Try to hold eye contact for a few seconds at a time, then you can briefly look away and then look back. If you are talking to a group of people, make sure to look at different people in the group. This includes everyone and makes you look much more commanding and confident. If you find direct eye contact very difficult, a little trick is to look at the spot right between the person's eyebrows. To them, it will look like you are making eye contact. Think about what you do with your hands. When we are nervous, our hands can feel very awkward. We might put them in our pockets, cross our arms, or fidget with something. Crossing your arms can make you look defensive or closed off. Hiding your hands can make you seem untrustworthy. Instead, try to use your hands to help you communicate. Use natural gestures to emphasize your points. When you are talking about something big, you can make a big gesture. When you are listing points, you can use your fingers to count them. Using your hands in a purposeful way not only makes your communication clearer, it also channels your nervous energy into something productive. If you don't know what to do with your hands, just let them rest gently at your sides or on your lap. The key is to keep your posture open. Finally, and this is the easiest one, remember to smile. A genuine smile is a universal sign of friendliness. It makes you seem more approachable and confident. When you smile, it also relaxes your face muscles, which can help your pronunciation. And just like with posture, The physical act of smiling can actually trick your brain into feeling happier and more relaxed. It's a simple tool, but it's incredibly effective. It makes the other person feel more comfortable, which in turn will make you feel more comfortable too. Your body is a powerful instrument for confidence. Use it. Stand tall, make eye contact, use open gestures, and smile. You will look more confident, and you will feel more confident too. Point 5. Expand your vocabulary strategically. I need more vocabulary. This is something I hear from English learners all the time. And while having a wide vocabulary is helpful, how you learn it is just as important as how many words you know. Just memorizing long lists of random words is not an effective strategy for building speaking confidence. You need to learn words in a way that makes them easy to use in a real conversation. The most important shift you need to make is to stop learning single words and start learning phrases or chunks. English is full of words that are almost always used together. These are called collocations. For example, we don't say do a mistake, we say make a mistake. We don't say a strong rain, we say heavy rain. When you learn these chunks together, it makes your speech much more natural and fluent. You don't have to think about which individual words to put together, you just remember the whole phrase. So, how do you do this? When you learn a new word, don't just write down the word and its definition. Look for examples of how it's used in a sentence. Pay attention to the words that come before and after it. Let's say you learn the word opportunity. Don't just learn opportunity equals a chance to do something. Instead, learn the phrases that use it. A great opportunity, a unique opportunity, to miss an opportunity, to take an opportunity. Now, you don't just have a word, you have a collection of ready-to-use phrases for your next conversation. This chunking method makes it much easier for your brain to retrieve the information when you are speaking. Another strategic tip is to focus on vocabulary that is relevant and interesting to you. If you love cooking, learn the vocabulary for ingredients, kitchen tools, and cooking techniques. If you're interested in technology, learn the words to describe the latest gadgets and software. When you learn vocabulary about topics you are passionate about, two things happen. First, it's much easier to remember the words because you are genuinely interested. Second, you will actually have a chance to use these words in conversations because you enjoy talking about these topics. Don't feel like you have to learn business English if you hate business. Start with what you love. This will make learning feel less like work and more like fun, and it will give you the confidence to talk about your passions in English. To make this a daily habit, try using a word of the day technique, but with a twist. Don't just read the word. Your mission for the day is to use that word or phrase in a real sentence, either by writing it down or saying it out loud. For example, if your phrase of the day is to look forward to something, you could say to yourself, I'm really looking forward to the weekend. Or you could write in your journal, I'm looking forward to my English class tonight. This active use is what moves a word from your passive vocabulary, words you understand, to your active vocabulary versus words you can use. Finally, one of the best ways to internalize new vocabulary and sentence structures is to read aloud. Find an article, a short story, or a book that you find interesting. Read it out loud for 10 minutes every day. You are not just practicing pronunciation. You are getting a feel for the rhythm of English sentences. You are seeing vocabulary in context. Your brain is absorbing grammar and sentence structure without you even having to study the rules. Reading aloud is like a workout for your mouth and your brain, and it's a fantastic bridge between knowing a word and being able to use it confidently in speech. Point 6. The power of listening. We've talked a lot about speaking, but we can't forget the other half of the equation, listening. Becoming a better listener will, paradoxically, make you a more confident speaker. Excellent listening skills can reduce your speaking anxiety and improve your fluency in several ways. First, active listening gives you time to think. In a conversation, you don't have to be talking 100% of the time. When the other person is speaking, many learners are not really listening. They are anxiously planning what they are going to say next. This creates a lot of pressure. Instead, practice active listening. Focus all of your attention on what the other person is saying. Try to truly understand their point of view. What is their main idea? How do they feel about it? When you do this, something amazing happens. Your own anxiety goes down because you are not frantically searching for the perfect response. And by understanding them better, a natural response will often come to you more easily. You can also use what they said to form your response. For example, you can say, "That's interesting that you mentioned their point. It makes me think about." This shows you were listening, and it gives you a natural way to enter the conversation. Second, listening is how you learn. Every conversation is a free English lesson. When you listen carefully to native or fluent speakers, you are absorbing vocabulary, grammar, slang, and cultural nuances. You'll hear how people really talk, which is often very different from what you learn in a textbook. Pay attention to the phrases they use to agree, disagree, or change the subject. Notice their intonation and rhythm. You are gathering valuable information that you can then use in your own speech. The more you listen, the more your brain gets tuned to the sounds and structures of natural English, and the more natural you will begin to sound. So, how can you practice active listening? Of course, you do it in conversations, but you can also practice on your own. Watch a movie or a TV show in English. Try watching a short scene without subtitles and see how much you can understand. Then, watch it again with English subtitles. Pause the video and look up any words or phrases you don't know. The combination of hearing the word and seeing it written down is very powerful for learning. Podcasts are another fantastic tool. Find a podcast on a topic you enjoy and listen to it while you are driving, cleaning, or exercising. At first, just try to get the general idea of what they are talking about. As you get better, you can start to focus on the details. You can even try to summarize what you heard out loud after you finish listening. Remember, a conversation is a two-way street. It is a dance between speaking and listening. When you take the pressure off yourself to always be the one speaking and instead focus on being a great listener, you will find that conversations become much more enjoyable and much less stressful. Being a good listener makes you a better conversation partner, and knowing that will make you feel much more confident. Conclusion: your journey starts now. All right, we have covered so much today. We talked about building a confident mindset and letting go of perfection. We learned how to prepare for conversations so you can be more spontaneous. We explored smart practice techniques like shadowing and thinking aloud. We discussed how to use confident body language to change how you feel. And we looked at strategic ways to learn vocabulary and the incredible power of active listening. It might seem like a lot, but you don't have to do everything all at once. The key to building real, lasting confidence is to start small and be consistent. Confidence is not a destination you arrive at one day. It is a journey, and it's built one conversation at a time, one small success at a time. So here is your challenge for this week. I want you to choose just one tip from this video. Just one. Maybe it's the shadowing technique. Maybe it's preparing a story for the question, "How was your weekend?" Or maybe it's just focusing on standing tall before you speak. Pick one thing that felt most helpful to you, and I want you to practice it every single day for the next week. Let me know in the comments below which tip you are going to choose for your 1-week challenge. I would love to hear from you and support you. Remember, every single person you see speaking English confidently today was once a beginner. They were once nervous and scared of making mistakes. The only difference between them and someone who is still afraid is that they kept practicing. They were brave enough to try, to make mistakes, and to learn from them. And you can do that too. You have everything you need to become a confident English speaker. Thank you so much for watching. This is English BioTalk, helping you bring your English to life. You've got this. I'll see you in the next video.